10 years have passed since the fall of Troy. While the other Greek heroes have returned to their thrones, one man remains lost to the churning fury of the sea. Odysseus is marooned on the island of Ogygia, held by the nymph Calypso. She offers him the chance to live forever as an immortal if he stays. He turns her down. He is consumed by nostos, a fierce physical ache for home that outweighs the promise of eternal life. His mind is fixed on the jagged cliffs and deep bays of Ithaca. He chooses a mortal life with his family over a lonely divinity. This journey is driven by a desperate human need to return to his origins, no matter the cost of the voyage. In his absence, Ithaca has fallen into chaos. A mob of local noblemen has occupied his palace, consuming his wealth and slaughtering his herds. These suitors are pressuring his wife Penelope to remarry, while his son Telemachus is forced to watch his inheritance disappear. To reach them, Odysseus must cross the domain of Poseidon. The god of the sea holds a divine grudge against the king, pitting the weight of the ocean against a single man. He sets out on a makeshift raft, a speck of wood facing the full violence of a god-driven storm. Success on this ocean requires a mind sharp enough to navigate the whims of a vengeful deity. Odysseus will survive only by engineering his own luck. Trapped in the cave of the Cyclops Polyphemus, Odysseus and his crew face a monster that views them as livestock. The math of the cave is simple. If the giant dies while the men are inside, they are buried alive. Only Polyphemus has the strength to move the boulder blocking the exit. Odysseus begins his escape by manipulating the giant's perception. When asked for his identity, he tells the monster his name is Nobody. He blinds the giant with a sharpened, heated stake. This completely removes the monster's ability to hunt them, while leaving him strong enough to push the boulder aside. The name Nobody creates a lethal misunderstanding. When the blinded giant screams for help, he tells his neighboring kin that nobody is hurting him, convincing them there is no emergency. Escaping the cave was a victory of information control, weaponizing the giant's own voice to silence his call for backup. His path continues through a gauntlet of horrors, the sorcery of Circe, the grim prophecies of the Underworld, and the crushing narrows of Scylla and Charybdis. He then faces the Sirens, whose song is so beautiful it lures sailors to steer their ships directly into the rocks. The crew survives by plugging their ears with beeswax, turning the ship into a silent vessel that cannot hear the sirens' call. Odysseus has himself bound to the mast with his ears open. He experiences the full force of temptation, physically ensuring he cannot ruin the mission. This is strategic restraint, gathering intelligence and experiencing the threat without the capacity to act on his own worst impulses. Odysseus finally reaches Ithaca alone, stripped of his ships and his royal status. His palace has become a fortification for his enemies, a complex of stone halls filled with men who want him dead. A direct assault against 100 armed suitors would be a massacre. He disguises himself as a beggar, entering his own home as a shadow. This allows him to walk freely among the suitors, invisible to the men who have stolen his life. He endures their abuse for days, suppressing his anger to map the layout of the room and identify the precise moment to strike. Penelope sets the final trap, a contest to string Odysseus's massive battle bow and shoot an arrow through 12 iron axes. The suitors attempt to force the bow with brute strength, but the wood refuses to bend for them. The beggar steps forward and strings the weapon with effortless technique. He releases a single arrow that pierces every axe head clean. He sheds the rags, revealing the king beneath. The suitors find themselves trapped in a hall with the very man they tried to erase. Alongside Telemachus, Odysseus turns the bow on the crowd. The hall becomes a slaughterhouse as he systematically removes the threat to his throne. He turned his enemy's arrogance into a cage, using his mind to create the opening his muscles needed to finish the fight. After 20 years of war and wandering, the palace is silent. Odysseus finally stands at peace with Penelope. He redefined what it means to be a hero. He proved that while strength can win a battle, it is an adaptable mind, guided by the love of home, that survives an impossible universe.